What is up, guys? We're back with episode 6 of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. Listen, I thought last episode was going to be the last episode, but nope, this game is still going. The devs were not joking when they said that this was going to be the longest chapter yet. I mean, yeah, we're 6 episodes in, but a lot has, absolutely a lot has happened. I mean, Huggy's dead. Kissy's dead. Poppy got captured by the prototype. We died for like a good second and then got brought back to life somehow. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the Poppy gel. But yeah, the prototype he captured Poppy. And I feel like, again, we're at the end game here. At least we have Giblet, though. Giblet's still alive, but I'm curious to see how this is going to end. Very curious. Alright, Giblet. What's the plan here, huh? What are we doing? Look at him. He is sad, dude. He is very sad.
Keep looking.
Oh, data servers? What the heck? What are we looking for? Oh, the backups, right. Okay. Golly. There's gotta be a bunch of data in here.
This is it. This has gotta be where they keep the backup.
Oh, okay. We gotta log in and get the data. Press any key to activate. Okay. Are you sure? Yes, I'm very sure. Override required. Oh god, what am I? Override required. Oh. Wait. Gotta break this. Yep. Alright. Is that it? Are we good? Oh, another one. Alright, there we go. Alright, what's going on here? Whoa. Oh god, that's making too much noise. Whoa.
Well, now,
Is that who I think that is?
Interesting turn of events.
What? The doctor's back. Harley Sawyer's back. Oh my god, that was it. No. That was it. That was the end of chapter 5. Oh my god. Oh my god. This well, this is going to be a very very short episode. What the hell, bro? I legit thought that there's going to be more. I didn't think that was the end. Okay, that was it. That was the end. I mean, I thought that we were going to be able to we were going to fight the prototype. Cuz okay. I don't know, man. Bro, what the hell? Like legit I thought, yeah, like I thought this was going to be the final chapter in the beginning. But from what I heard, a lot of people say, like, oh, there's going to be another chapter, like the 6th one's confirmed, right? And I was like, I'm so curious on how this this chapter was going to end, because I was very sure that we were going to beat the prototype. I was very sure that we were going to defeat the prototype. But again, I guess it makes sense too, because again, the prototype's the big bad of this. He's the main antagonist of this whole franchise, right? It wouldn't make sense if you kill off the prototype, and then what would the 6th chapter be? You know what I mean? But okay, I mean, this was a very short. This was very short. I didn't know that, man. Oh my god, like, I thought there was going to be more. I thought we were going to go into an area where we were going to actually fight the prototype, and we were going to kill him. But no, the prototype's still out there. The prototype has Poppy, right? And now the doctor is still alive. Like in the last chapter, it was like we killed the doctor. We killed his main system. But obviously he's like a supercomputer, so of course he would have a backup, but he's here. The doctor is back. And I mean, my prediction, I feel like the doctor might help us in chapter 6. I could very much see that. I could very much see the doctor helping us in chapter 6 out of most likely his own interest, but I do think it's a very big possibility. But my thoughts on the chapter, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, first off, the chapter was very long. Yes, the developers were right about how long this chapter was. It was very long. And I will say that this chapter was definitely much more scary than chapter I would say 4. This chapter was definitely much scarier than chapter 4. One of the big issues with chapter 4, especially going from chapter 3, which was which was very scary, very intense moments, and then you go to chapter 4 where it just kind of, they took a step back with it. It was more focused on kind of the aesthetics of the gameplay, the lore, the plot. You know, there wasn't much scares. This chapter, though, I will say, had a good amount of scares, for sure. For sure. That is like one of the big bright sides of this chapter. But I will say one of the biggest downsides to this chapter, and one of the reasons why I think this chapter was like lasted a lot longer than all the others, was the amount of puzzles. I feel like there were too many puzzles in this chapter. I mean, literally, we had a full episode where all we were doing was puzzles. And don't get me wrong, puzzles are good in a gameplay, you know? They add variety, but when you have too many puzzles, it just gets repetitive and it gets boring, and you're like, okay, when are we going to get to the good stuff, right? Usually in a scary game, the way that I go about it is like, man, you know, when are we gonna get a break from all the chases and the scares and, you know, these intense moments, right? You're hoping you get like a break, you know, and you're hoping for like a puzzle. But I felt like with this chapter, a lot of it, like, at least for me, I felt a lot of it was like, man, you know, when are we gonna get to the good stuff? When are we gonna get to the scares? When are we gonna get to the chase, you know? And I feel like there was more puzzles than there were actually chase scenes or you know, like boss fights, I guess you would say, or not boss fights, but like scary moments. You know what I mean? But again, just like chapter 4, the story is very good. I really enjoyed the story. I enjoyed it a lot. The plot continues to thicken, and again, we are left with more questions than answers, right? What, like, we still don't know what the prototype's goal here, what he wants from Poppy, right? Obviously we have speculation, obviously we have some theories, and we have a lot of evidence to come up with a theory. Like, from what I can gather, it seems like, yeah, like the prototype wants to like, doesn't really care about any other toys, doesn't really care about, like, yeah, the orphans or the toys. All he wants is for him and Poppy to be together, to, I guess, live forever in the paradise he made, right? But I feel like, again, there's still so many answers. Who, right? We saw that cassette tape where it seemed like last episode we found the cassette tape where Ollie is pretty much the prototype. But who is Ollie in the first place? Who is he to Elliot Ludwig? Who is he to Poppy? Right? Again, we still don't know what's going to happen, right? What's the prototype going to do with Poppy? I felt like we were going to get a lot of that answers in this chapter, but we were left with a lot of questions here. And honestly, I won't lie. I think the ending was not that good. I think the ending could have been a lot better, right? Sure, it left us on a cliffhanger. Sure, we got the surprise that the doctor's back, right? But again, like, I felt like, what did we really accomplish in this chapter, right? Like, the prototype's still out there. He's still got Poppy. I felt like this chapter was going to answer, again, the question about Poppy and the prototype. But again, we're left with more questions than answers. But overall, I think this chapter was good. I enjoyed playing this game. I've enjoyed playing every single chapter. I've enjoyed this franchise. I mean, they did a really good job here. And again, they definitely work on a few things, for sure. But my overall rating out of 10, I will say, I would give this chapter definitely better than the last chapter. But I still think chapter 3 is still on top. But if I had to rank this, I would say out of 10, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. My rankings for each chapter, from worst to best, I think at last I would put chapter 4, right? Mainly because obviously when the game first came out, it was very buggy and there was a lot of glitches and all that stuff. It wasn't finished. But it still had a good plot. Still had a really good ending. Probably one of the best endings, I think, in all the chapters. But overall, like, I think chapter 4 is last. So that's at 5. At number 4, I would put I think I would put chapter 1. Chapter 1's the start. It was the first chapter. It's very iconic, but it's very short. There wasn't much of a plot. It was just escaping Huggy. Again, it was a very short chapter. It was nice and simple. Don't get me wrong, it was nice and simple, and it's a really good chapter. But I feel like there's the other chapters I think are much better. At number 3, I'll put. God, okay, at number 3, I think I'm gonna put chapter 5. Again, the plot is amazing. The lore is amazing. The animation and the gameplay, much better. I mean, they really took their time with this game to make sure everything works. The cutscenes were amazing. Again, I love the cutscene. There were so many intense moments, so many scares. Again, too many puzzles. My only issue is too many puzzles and the ending to this game. Too many puzzles and the ending kind of brought this down. But I would put this at the number 3 spot. At the number 2 spot, I think it's chapter 2. Chapter 2, I feel like had it all. It had really good scares, a good amount of puzzles. It wasn't like, too many puzzles. A good amount of puzzles. It had a good amount of lore. It's had really good scares. The lore, the lore started to pick up. The ending, I think, was really good for chapter 2. And again, that's when we really got the first encounter with the prototype. But I felt like chapter 2 left us at a really good cliffhanger. When Poppy betrayed us, we get sent further down into the factory. The train crashes, right? It was like that ending is like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? I really enjoyed chapter 2. And again, it was very lengthy too. It had a good length. Like it was much longer than the first chapter. But yeah, but not too long. But it was a good amount of time, game time. So that's at number 2, and then at number 1, of course, has to be chapter 3. Much better lore. The plot is really good. We get to introduce obviously to a lot of new characters. Catnap is probably to me, still my favorite Bigger Bodies character. And I mean, really, the main part that I love about chapter 3 is how scary it is. It is super scary. I felt the whole entire time. I felt like I was on the edge of my seat. Like, I was like, am I gonna get attacked? Am I gonna get jumped? And Catnap was pretty much nightmare fuel. It was nightmare fuel, but had a good fight. Like the Catnap fight was pretty good, and then the ending. At the ending again, left us at a cliffhanger, left us in suspense. Right? We didn't know what happened to Kissy, right? We didn't know where we were going, but again, that's my rankings. Again, chapter 5, it's done, and again, guess what? We're gonna get a chapter 6, and it's gonna be another prototype. I think chapter 6 will most likely be the last chapter, but we're still gonna get the prototype, which is good, and then I think bad at the same time, because it's like, again, this chapter was focused on the prototype, but I guess, like, what is chapter 6 gonna focus on? Is it gonna focus on the prototype again? Because each chapter has kind of focused on a different antagonist, right? Chapter 1, Huggy. Chapter 2, Mommy. Chapter 3, Catnap. Chapter 4, the Doctor, or the Doctor / Dowie, but I would say the Doctor. And then chapter 5, the prototype. So chapter 6, it has to be the prototype again, because again, he's the big bad. I don't know. Regardless, I thought, this is my fault. Like, I could have easily, if I played a little bit more, again, I would have I would have finished the series last episode. But of course not. Of course, I thought, oh, we ended it off perfectly. I thought there was going to be more, and we were going to get a good amount of game time. But of course, I was very wrong. We had like 3 minutes of game time in this episode. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed this whole series. It's been amazing. It's been fun. But again, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.